Brian Jack. He lived for the here and now, enjoying life to the fullest with passion and a romantic side few saw, unless he let you into his circle. This is a tribute to Brian Jack and his amazing talent.
So I met Brian in the 5th grade at Middleborough Elementary School. I just moved there from another school, and even at that point, he was already the person that people were talking about. Him and Bobby Perky were already doing a little bit of playing, but I wouldn't say we were friends because I was a little bit of a nerd, just like I am now. So he's a little too cool for me. But we struck it up a little bit, I think, in junior high school. I remember, we had a school dance, I think it was the 8th grade, and the coolest guys in the junior high school were playing the 8th grade dance, and it was Brian and his band High Voltage. And I couldn't believe that they were that good. We were 13, he was a year older, so he was probably 14.
Born Brian Keith Jacobino, August 16th, 1965, to Roy and Gundy. He was the energetic middle child that was born an entertainer. He put on shows at family gatherings and was like a magnet to all of those who met him throughout his life.
First time I met Brian, it was early '83. I just come on probation. I got a job at the Seafood Crab House, and he was busboy. He was quite a mischievous kid, always getting into something. Good-looking kid, all the girls liked him. Crazy boy. So we immediately hit it off because I was playing in bands and he was playing in bands. And he was quite a guitar player, and I was singing. And so I took him to see my band in Towson, and he showed me all of his friends down in Essex who had a much better band. And I met Phil. Phil was playing bass in High Voltage, but he was a really talented guy.
I remember the first time meeting Brian, Kenny Geiger took me out to a random house with a bunch of dudes playing music, and this is what he did for a living, and I was fascinated. And when I walked into the room, my eyes immediately went to this guy that was standing there, and he had a light on him, and the rest of the basement was kind of dark. But that's the first time I'd ever seen a rock star, and that was Brian Jack.
He made an impression on me, and I didn't know who he was, hadn't heard of him before, hadn't heard about him being in a band or anything like that. I was like a 9th or 10th grader in high school, and my art teacher had gone to this art show of Baltimore County seniors, and he had videoed a bunch of pieces that he was impressed with. And I remember then there was this one piece that really stuck in my mind. It blew me away. It was a sculpture, and it was a series of, I think, four faces, and they progressively make this face where they're wincing in pain, and there are bumps on the forehead. The second face and the third face, the bumps in the forehead are breaking open, and the last one is a hand actually punching through the forehead. A year or two after I was already in Child's Play, happened to go over to his parents' house, and when I turned around to go downstairs, there was that piece. It was hanging over top of the staircase, and I was like, oh my God, dude, I remember this.
So first time I met Brian was a Child's Play practice. We had a mutual friend named Kenny Geiger, and he took John and I to see this band Child's Play. We didn't know who it was, but he was talking. These guys are really killer. They're good. John and I were like, yeah, we'll see that. We'll see. So we went to their practice. Everybody was partying. It wasn't like today's practices where it's serious, but so they started playing, and I look at John. I was like, dude, this guy has got to be in our band, because John and I were in the band. Of course, we were nowhere. We were in the basement. We really didn't have anything going. But man, after seeing him play, it was just like a spark. I'm like, this guy is special.
First couple of shows out playing in the clubs, they were opening for Mannequin, and then I think it was around October, I was invited to go see them play at this biker bar in Dundalk called JD Saloon. I looked like I was about 12, and they snuck me in. I got there, they were loading in and setting up, and Jimmy Schaefer came up to me and was like, hey man, I'm trying to get you in this band. And then like, I don't know, 10 minutes later, Brian came up and said, hey man, I'm trying to get you in this band. A few days later after that show, Brian called me up and he was really selling me hard on joining Child's Play, and he was telling me all this stuff they had going for him. And, you know, as that movie says, you had me at hello. Like, he didn't really have to sell me on it, because to join a band that already had things rolling and had the kind of star power like him in the band, it was a foregone conclusion. I had to join. I had to, you know, take the leap and you know, join the ranks.
Years later, after John joined Child's Play, their guitar player, Jimmy Schaefer, had his wisdom teeth out, and Child's Play asked me to play. I think it was a couple weeks. I did some songs. Of course, I had, you know, no time to learn the songs, but, you know, Brian's, you know, he's like, dude, you know, I'm really like, you know, he had a convincing way of like making you think everything was the coolest thing in the world. Well, everything he did was cool, so I got it. So of course I played with them, and then a little time later, Jimmy moved on, and they asked me to be in the band, and you know, we got to hang out a lot. What I loved most about Brian was like everything he was into, whether it was music, whether it was a certain band, whether it was art, skating. Like, he had this youthful, like childlike enthusiasm that sucked you in.
After taking over lead vocals, it was only a year and a half before Child's Play signed a major label deal with Chrysalis Records.
One of my fondest memories is my first time in LA. The band was playing Concrete Foundation forums, and there were just so many bands there that I knew and that I had idolized, and lots of new bands from all the record companies showcasing. And it was a great couple days. So we had packed everything up, headed for the airport to come home, and I don't know whose idea it was, but somebody decided, let's climb these hills up to the Hollywood sign and tag it with Child's Play. So we pulled the band over, and we're going up through people's yards, trudging through brush and trees, and I had my camera. So we went up to the sign. Brian climbed up and wrote Child's Play 1989 on the back of the sign. And then he jumped down and he came over to me and he was like, let me have your camera. You get in there for a photo. And I had that photo as well. And every time I look at that photo, it's just such a fond memory where we were on top of the world. There wasn't a worry, a care, other than, you know, the obvious business. But it was good times, and I really miss those times. I really miss Brian.
You believed everything he said because, you know, his eyes were magical, and he just said things like it was absolutely the best. And I miss that about him. You know, he had a childhood enthusiasm, you know, like a kid. But we miss him, and wish he was here jamming with us today. That's all I have to say about that.
He never failed to deliver on stage, night after night. He was a gifted singer and a frontman who will not be forgotten. He brightened the lives of so many. Rest in peace, Brian Jack.